Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. If this is the first time for you, my name is Sophia and today I am going to be painting or drawing this portrait of my son with Prismacolors, and I hope that you come along for this ride. Okay, so in my previous video I was talking about how I look at the shapes that the body or the object that I'm drawing make. So for instance, here, this shape that is made by the arm and the body of my son, because this is my son, is what I'm trying to replicate right here. Right there. And the same thing in this part. I'm trying to replicate the shape. And so I did this drawing fairly quickly. And I know not everything is correct. Like I can see that the sleeve here is a lot longer than what I've made it right here. But I don't practice drawing because I can draw fairly easily. It's not difficult for me. What's difficult for me is to use color, which is the reason why I have been using the colored pencils to try to figure out the use of color. I've done acrylic paintings before, and they've come out fairly decently, but it's since I started the portrait that I'm making for my brother and his wife, I had to stop because I'm second guessing myself, and I'm second guessing my use of colors. If I were painting the portrait that I'm doing for them for myself, if it was something that I was not going to give someone, I would actually not care. But once I start thinking about filming myself and having myself being watched by somebody else or giving my work to somebody, then I start to second guess myself. That's the reason why I was able to do so many drawings and sketches during my 90-day challenge, because I didn't have a camera filming me, and because I didn't have to show it right away. There's something about me that it makes me really nervous about committing to having someone see my work. And so I need to push through it, and I don't know how to do it. I'm struggling. I'm really struggling with filming myself. The other thing is I'm using my phone and a ring light tripod, and when I bend down, then the camera focuses on my head and makes my work blurry. And when I work, I usually lean over my work this way, so you're really not able to see it. And I think that that's why I'm struggling with videotaping myself, because in order for me to be comfortable and do my work, it's very difficult to put the camera on my work as I work and actually be able to see my progress. And if I'm not comfortable, then it just makes it more difficult. So I think that my option is to try to work a little bit in a position that my body is not really used to for a little bit, and then just bend over and then just show you the progress. Maybe I just need to get some equipment, but I'm not going to do that right now. Right now I'm just filming with my phone, with my iPhone. And the only equipment that I have that's, you can say, semi-professional is the ring light, which my son, the one that I'm actually drawing, gave me for Christmas, because he knew that I was thinking about embarking on this journey. So anyway, I am going to continue. So what I'm doing here is I am erasing the pencil lines because they're too dark, and if I don't, what will end up happening is that it will muddy my colors. I also wanted to talk a little bit about my process, because I have watched several artists on YouTube, And what I find is that they have almost rendered me incapable of finishing this piece here that I've been doing for my brother, because I start second guessing myself. I start questioning my process, and I figured I shouldn't be doing that. Now, what is different this time around is that instead of me completely abandoning art for a while, I decided that I would go back to my sketchbook and continue being productive and artistic and creative. And that's why I am doing this right now. In the past, I would have just stopped completely, and I would not have revisited this painting of my brother's for many, many, many months, sometimes even a year or two. So this is part of my process, trying to come to terms with not being afraid of pushing forward when I feel like I'm stuck. And you're here to witness it. So right now, all I'm doing is doing this very small portion of my drawing. But I wanted to slow it down so that you could see that it's doing any piece of artwork with colored pencils. It's tedious and it's a slow process because you have to layer the colors. Honestly, it's kind of ironic that I'm feeling more comfortable with colored pencils because when I've painted with acrylics, I definitely work a lot faster because you cover a lot more in a shorter period of time. But maybe it's because when I started this challenge for myself, I just focused on using colored pencils, a little bit of gouache, and a little bit of watercolor or ink, and these were just a lot easier than handling or tackling a big project. And now I'm working on the shirt. It is a black shirt, but when instead of using a black, I usually use like a burnt umber. I don't have a burnt umber, so I'm going to use a dark umber, and then I am going to use a blue indigo and see if I can make it dark enough. The reason why I've done the shirt and the apron is because it makes me feel like I've accomplished a lot, and then I'll go in and do the arms and possibly the pie and the table, and I think the thing that I'll do the last will be his face. So by the way, his name also starts with an S, so that's really funny because he is wearing my apron. So I decided to do a cutting board underneath the pie to add a little bit of richness and color, and then I also added a rolling pin, which is also going to have the same colors. I'm going to show you the one that I did of my daughter. Hold on a second. Oh, that's because I had started that one earlier. Wait a second. I lost it. Where is it? Okay, let me look for it. So here's the one I had done of my daughter, and I'm gonna do that same cutting board that I just basically created just to give the drawing a little bit more richness. So I'm gonna use my own drawing as a reference for a new one. Anyway, this is my progress. I did the cutting board. I should have made it, the perspective is kind of wrong because I have it completely rectangular. But I'm going to leave it this way. Since this was not in the photograph, I should have just realized that I should have made it foreshortened. But anyway, this is where I am right now with the sketch, or with the here. Everybody's here in spirit. Okay. Awesome. I don't know where the cat is. Did Ash get fed this morning? We have 4 students in class today. How are you guys all doing? Okay. Thumbs up. Oh, yes. Me too. So school's out, so I'm able to go back to my artwork. I had to start off the new year at home because I had been exposed to someone who had COVID. I tested negative finally, but my first week I was home, and so was a great portion of my class as well. But I will be going back to school on Monday, which is great because honestly, if you have any kids, you know that being at home is not really that great for the students. They really don't learn as much. Sorry, they really don't learn as much as if they are in class. So I'm looking forward to going back to school tomorrow. So here is the final result of this sketch, drawing, painting, I don't know what we can call it. There were things that I actually wish I would have done differently, especially here in the rolling pin. I got too dark, and this paper is really not very good, so when I burnished it or pressed on it really hard, I can't go back and fix it. That's as good as I wanted to do on the pie, because that could take an eternity, and I think it came out fairly decent. And so here they are side by side. I thought I'd share that with you. I showed it to my son and he said one of his arms was too thin, but hey. There they go. Let's go in close in the face. And as you can see, I added my own stuff to it. I thought I would end this vlog by sharing a little bit of Atlanta with you. I am on the Beltline, and you know, I feel like we should take care of ourselves completely, not just your passion, but also getting out and getting some fresh air, and walking is really good for the soul. And it was a beautiful day here in Atlanta.